What's going on? It's your man Terrence J, and welcome to another edition of Toxic is the New Masculinity. And as always, I got my man KY to my left, my man Bossy to my right. And we're here having a show just to have a little discussion about masculinity. And a lot of times the term toxic masculinity has went rampant throughout social society. But we're having a show to let you know that masculinity is not toxic. A lot of times you might have a disagreement with us, but if you give us a little bit of time and let us explain ourselves, you'll understand that what we're thinking is not toxic. Now, that does not mean that there are not some people who display toxic just behavior, with a masculine background. That's not to say that, but what we're saying is right here on this show, that's not what we're about. So again, toxic is the new masculinity. Welcome in everybody who is watching the show. Do us a favor, go on there and share if you're watching right now. Also, turn your phones down while you're watching, also, because, obviously we hadn't got the basic uses of the cell phones here on the desk yet. So, with that being said, listen, now I dropped my phone. That's what I get for talking about you. That's what I get, KY.
See what happens? Karma is a what?
but guys, listen, a lot of times, as men, we operate in a society and we go through things and makes us scratch our head a lot of times, right? And I think one of the things that kind of have us baffled sometimes is all my life I gotta fight. And so there's a saying that we was just scanning online, KY, and there's something that popped up that kind of resonated with all of us. Right. Basically, it said a woman is always innocent until proven guilty, and a man is guilty until proven innocent, right?
And we presume this is from a woman's perspective.
I don't know where this came from.
It was spot on.
Yeah. And the thing is that honestly, by reading it, I don't believe this came from a woman's perspective. Think about it. A woman is always innocent until proven guilty. A man is guilty until proven innocent.
You know what? I see what you mean, but I think the spirit is satire generally, right? Because if a guy wrote that, he probably would. I totally understand. He's not in agreement or acquiescent to the fact that women are superior or nothing like that.
No.
Right. No, I'm saying. And if a female wrote it, oh yeah, she's definitely coming from that aspect. No question. Matter of fact, I think pre-show we had concrete evidence of that. If I'm not mistaken. It's not
Spot on, bro. Spot on.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Also, if you guys see a increase in the quality of the show, is because we are moving on up in the world and we got a producer now. And the thing is that, when you reach different levels and you have great help, we always want to make sure we acknowledge that. And also, I'm gonna let you guys know, you see 3 bald-headed Negroes up here. There's always somewhere around helping keep everything together. There's a great Black woman helping out the 3 men. So just to let you know, this ain't no show where we bashing women or nothing like that. All right. So,
yeah.
But anyway, to get to the topic, proven innocent or being presumed innocent, there's a difference. Because see, when you got to prove your innocence, then you walk in with a different mindset. When you are presumed innocent, you walk in with a different mindset, right?
Absolutely.
So the statement, KY, when we talk about having to prove your innocence, have you ever been in a situation where you felt off rip with no evidence you were guilty?
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. And you know what? In my head, I'm like, what am I doing? It's like, you know what? And what happens is men tend to you'll start acting guilty because you're like, okay, I got to make sure it don't look like this. I don't want to make sure it looks like this. I got to make sure. You're already prepping for something that you're not even guilty about because you're like, I don't want to hear it, so I need to make sure everything lines up like it's supposed to line up.
Well, there's a saying that says it's easier to prove something. I think it goes, it's harder to get out of something you didn't do than it is something you did
do. Yeah, exactly.
And so what happened is when you haven't done anything wrong, that's a hard argument because in your head, now it sounds like I sound like I'm lying.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you know what? You fumbling like, I don't even know how do I correct something I don't need to correct.
Yeah.
So you start fumbling and fumbling around.
Whenever you come home or encounter potentially a woman you dating at this point, right? And when she asks you something like that, you're so thrown off. You know what I mean? You're so thrown off that your whole body language is, okay, let me recall. But her whole perception of you as he lying, he about to lie, he ready to lie, and he's going to lie. You know?
Yeah.
It's like you have no way to waver. It's like you can't even think. Like, you came in the house and you said you were so, and my girlfriend said she saw you, and you said like first like, okay, what the hell did you just say?
Yeah, and
you don't have that.
You held the turning. Yeah. Hey, you don't get no recess.
For sure.
No. You got to go with this right now because the moment you try to stop and pause, you're getting your lie together.
Right. Yeah. Why you lying? Why you quiet? Why you talking?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You know, and the thing is that I think when we look at this, and I'm gonna tell you where it resonates really is actually if you're a black man, you're used to this in life already. Your presumption of guilt before you even have to prove yourself that you're innocent. But when you're inside of a relationship, sometimes, ladies, you got to understand we have this level of thought process that you do not believe what we're saying because the questions a lot of times are leading. Yeah. And it's almost leading like, I know you already did it, so I'm going to make it. And you're sitting there trying to make sure, like, where are the facts? Where you know? And so I had the situation even in my house where my wife was like, I want to go on more dates, right? So I said, all right, cool. We're going to start going on more dates. I'm going to be intentional about doing this. So we start going on dates. She said, we just need to go somewhere at least every other week. I know life is busy, whatever, every other week. One day, we in the room and she said, you know, and all I've been wanting to do is go on dates. You ain't took me nowhere. We ain't went nowhere. And I'm like, dang. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did. I took accountability without rib. You know why? Because she said it. I said, dang, you know what? We ain't. And all she asked me to do was to go on more dates, take her out more. And I couldn't even do that. Man, my bad. And then I sat there and I started thinking, wait a minute. I grabbed my phone, okay, why? Luckily, we had took pictures everywhere we went.
Right.
I started scrolling back. So I went back as far as about 6 weeks. Every 2 weeks up until that point.
You've been gone.
And then we had something planned for the next week. So this was going to be 8 straight weeks of doing something. And I was like, I said, well, yo, didn't we just go here? Didn't we just go here? Didn't we just go here? And now this is what killed me. She said, oh, I guess we did. Hell no. Keep that same energy that you had when I was guilty.
Listen. While you were talking, I was thinking about a time twice, right? Me and my wife laugh about this now. Funny, right? When she messes up and we resolve it, it's always funny. But when I mess up and we resolve it, I'm gonna pay for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off topic. But she she was on 10 for some reason. And usually it's because I accused her of something, right? But she was on 10 and defending herself. And so I had literally just came from church that night. I was taking a prayer class, right? So whatever I said, I think maybe, I don't know what it was, but I said something. She go in, right? And then it went like, you know that comedy routine from Martin when he says, how did we get here? Well, we were here, right? And she said to me, and another thing, you don't pray over the family. You don't do it the guy way. She going, hold up. And I looked at her and I literally said, I just came from prayer class. And she was like this. Oh. And then walked away.
Hey, hold on. She didn't do the walk away on you.
Bro, like, whoa, hold on.
Bring it back.
Run that back.
You got to give me mine now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But see, the thing is, you were guilty already without even having done anything. And so a lot of times I believe that when you're in a relationship, sometimes asking a question to want a truthful answer. Like in my situation, if my wife had said, hey, have we been anywhere since we had the conversation about dating? I could have said, you know what, let me check. But when she said we haven't went anywhere, I automatically went into, dang, man.
But you know what the underlying problem I have with that? She never rewarded you for what you was doing.
Oh,
She
that's
never
never
came to you and say, you know what, I really appreciate the effort you give me. Because see, I'm gonna tell you, women, y'all don't know how far that goes. So you want something, you know. What's the best say? Grandma used to get granddad to do anything, you know. He built a whole house. She come out, he out there nailing something and bringing some Kool-Aid. Said, you know, you really know how to build a house, baby.
As a way to stroke the ego.
Yeah.
Right, but women are lazy in that category. But you won't. But I don't even know if I'm doing it right because all I hear is what I don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I wouldn't use the word lazy, but I do.
Yeah.
I don't know what word to replace to it, but I do know a lot of times we are always on the defense.
Yeah.
We are always on the defense, right?
Right.
And I've used this phrase before that, at least for me, it doesn't even matter the level of the relationship. If it's fraternal or like, you know, you're related, right? Or you're dating or you just friends. You know what I mean? It just seems that there's this competition that women create between us in an arena that we didn't even sign up for.
Yeah.
You know, I was and you hear a lot of cliches, but I had me and my wife had some friends over, a couple of friends over. And wherever the conversation was going, I remember one of the wives said, she made a comment about her husband said something to the fact, whatever it was, it was on point, it was on topic, and it was about the appreciation of men. And his wife came right behind him and said, but y'all don't understand, God gives us a discernment. We just make we make y'all think y'all thought X, Y, Z. And, you know, we've heard that before, right?
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I really was sitting there like, one, what did that have to do with what we talking about?
Right.
And two, why did you feel that was necessary to say?
Right.
Like she just had to put it out there. Like I said, her husband said something real deep and profound, but she just had to add on it. Like,
to get the one up. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I never understand, like, you know, in arguments, you know, like women, when what is that thing you say?
You have
the mental fight, like the mental fight type thing.
Well, the fight is always in the woman's arena, which is verbal. And so men fight physical, women fight verbal. And so anytime a man and woman has a conflict, we always have to give you home field advantage because I have to come to your 100%. Arena because you will never come to my arena.
100%. Because when you listen to women will, they like, when we have a confrontation, right? Particularly, let's say we talk about sports and they get to the argument, we already know there's rules you can't. You just
right.
Women in a heartbeat, by the second exchange of a negative content, she hitting low.
Oh yeah.
And she
Well, you know, when you talk about that though, it's usually because there is a righteous type of stance that she's taken. So now I'm so right that I have to make sure to bring you down because and can be dead wrong. And so that's not all the cases.
Right.
But what I'm saying is sometimes when you're on that defense, when you're saying you're like, yo, just chill a little bit because we could have this conversation, but you can't come into the fact of where the verbal assault comes in because now because you know how it is. Right. When you know you're right, there's a front runner's mentality that you take.
Your chest out.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, and the crazy thing about it is, and I know all of us can have these conversations where it was, like you said, is that, and then once it's proven that it's not, then it's the walk off or it's the,
the apology don't come.
No. Right. Well, the thing is, because naturally, I'm going to say this. I know for me, and you guys probably the same thing, the quickness of accountability comes into play, right?
Well, now you gotta understand, and you talking about when we know it's rules, because we understand what comes behind another word.
Right.
If I push this envelope with this word, if something comes behind that, women have no respect.
There's a price to pay.
Yeah. No, women have no respect for that. They feel like I can say this, well, and you have to eat this.
Absolutely. And so now again with the topic saying, women are usually presumed innocent until proven guilty, and men are guilty until proven innocent. I think a lot of times when we look at relationships, you know, 70 to 80% of the divorces are initiated by women, right?
Right.
There's a lot of different thought processes on why that is.
Yeah. Didn't you send? I'm sorry. Did you send a clip about there was a woman talking about? About women tired or something.
I said that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so now, so when you look at the percentages of 70 to 80% is initiated by women. So I started saying, well, why is that possibly? So here's the thing. Understand this. If you have children, what a man knows, I get one shot with these kids, and a lot of times when mama leaves, mama takes everything that she loves, which is the kids.
Right.
If daddy leaves, he can't take the kids in most cases. So when he leaves, he left behind the stuff that he supposedly loved.
Right.
See the mindset that will make a dude say, you know what, I'll just sit in this. Why? Because I might not be working out with the woman so good, but I can't abandon these kids, which is a lot of times what the kids are going to feel.
Right.
Again, presumption of guilt is going to be, it don't matter what she done. If you say, I can't take this no more, I'm out. What happens is, how many times can a man say, I'm out and I'm taking my kids with me?
No, that's not going to happen.
hey, we talked about this, and he said, say if a woman divorces 3 times, she come up. A man divorces 3 times, he dang near on the street.
Yeah, because he has been reduced every time.
Financially.
Yeah.
He said, financially.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, financially plays a part in it too. But when we just talk about the actual dynamic of family,
right?
When you especially if you have younger children, because think about it, there's a line in a song. It's a very famous song, "Dear Mama" by Tupac. I bring this up a lot of times when people have different discussions, and just to let them know that it's not the same. The line goes, even though you were a crack fiend mama, you still was a black queen mama. When's the last time you heard somebody say, Daddy, even though you was a crack fiend, you still was a black king?
Oh, yeah,
well, you know the song, Papa was a Rolling Stone. If you pay attention to that song, it wasn't giving him no glory.
Whoa, no, of course you wouldn't get no glory because they telling he was just from home to home.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, talk to ever say you made mistakes?
Right.
You
was no grace though.
There's no grace.
Well, see,
Mama got the grace. Daddy got the disgrace.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's typically because in general mentality, those who are oppressed generally have more liberty of freedom of speech, or basically saying what they want.
And
how they feel.
Yeah.
And I do believe women in general, black women in particular, take full advantage of that.
Of being the one that have the ability to speak.
Because if you were saying, like, we even look at the family dynamic, and I'm not even going to talk about the divorce, right? When it comes to support and provision, when you have a conversation with your wife, your children are your children, right? When it comes to discipline or anything out the box that she doesn't like, she becomes my child. And I mean, woman, she's my child. Don't do this to my child.
Yeah, that's real talk.
Yeah, my child.
Yeah.
Again, with my daughter, right? I had to remind my wife that I was her father. I did. She was little baby.
A clear and present dad.
Yeah.
Let's just get this right.
Yeah. I mean, I think my daughter's probably 6 months old, and my daughter, like, you get in the car, she's going to sleep.
Yeah.
She's at the baby side. She was crying, put her in the car, and I rode her around, right? I was gone for like 30 minutes. I came in the house. My wife's face was long as California. I'm like, what's the problem? It was, where were you? And I'm saying in a nice tone. She said, where were you? Where did you go? You didn't let me know where you were going. You didn't call me. And you with my child.
Oh, yeah.
Literally what she said.
Yeah.
And I looked in the face and said, you know I'm a father, right?
Uh-huh.
I had to remind her of that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's facts.
You know what? And I say this, and listen up. Why do people think they're going to get a great response with the words you just said? What do you expect from the words you give out?
Yeah,
you
come back. Out my lip. My bad.
Yeah. Like,
I'm sorry.
How about the first words out your mouth? Is everything okay? Because see, you don't get everything she wanted to hear with softer words, and it's biblical. You get more with honey than you do with vinegar.
True.
And for some reason, people think I'm gonna shove this vinegar down your throat, and I'm just gonna come out.
That's not happening.
We're expected to take it. I mean, that's another dynamic. It's funny, right? I think that generally when there's a part of confrontation, right, women feel they have a liberty to say what they want to, in some cases, do what they want to you because you're the man. You're supposed to be able to take it. You're supposed to have. You're supposed to be able to.
Right.
We've had this conversation before. Like if we talk to, and I'm just going to extreme to make a point. When it comes to physical altercation, right? When it comes to physical altercations, right? Women like if you sitting at the table in front of a guy, dude hauls off and hits you, right? And T starts crying, reacting like a female, and there's women there. Oh, you're gonna get it.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get it.
Yeah,
you go. But the reverse happens. If a guy hits a woman and she starts crying and stuff like that, right? Woman will blast a guy, and I'm not advocating physical violence. I'm just making a point. Woman will blast a guy. Hey, she's a female. You shouldn't be doing that, right?
Yeah.
But then give her a week later, you had the conversation with the same woman, her telling how strong she is, how men can't have babies because they're too weak and they act like babies and things like that. As if in that same example, you say, well, last week when you got punched, you expected me to be able to take the punch. You expected me to be strong enough. So if I get pregnant, all that strength really just goes away. It just disappears.
Yeah.
Well,
I had one said, you strong. You should be able to take it. I'm like,
you should be able to take it.
So you telling I'm a punching bag because I'm strong? I'm like,
well, so watch this. So this was a conversation that I had with my wife one day, and I said, I should be honored that I haven't hit you. You should honor me that I've never hit you. She said, what? What do you mean? I said, see, you taking a presumption mindset that you should never be hit. And I said, I'm fine with that. I said, but watch this. I'm going somewhere with this. When kings and rulers are good to the people that they lead over because they have the power to destroy them, they call them great leaders, great kings. They praise them because they said, you got the power to destroy me and you don't. And we appreciate you for that. Right. The rulers and the dictators who do their people in their country wrong, they are chastised and said this person was a dictator. They were cruel. Why? Because that person had the power and used it. Now, if you're verbally abusive to me because you have the verbal power knowing that I won't retaliate physically, you are a horrible person. I agree. Because you have used your power. And I heard this one lady on a video said, I will destroy a man. I said, whoa, that's a strong word.
And take pride.
I will destroy. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, there are some men who have been destroyed by your words to the point their life is no longer the same. And I don't think you see the ramification. And a lot of times it's like, look at him, look at his life now. And I'm telling you, men take those words from somebody they have become vulnerable to very strongly. And I know men now who have went through situations where their ladies not only left them, but destroyed them on the way out. And I'm talking about guys who have literally had the lady admit, well, no, he never cheated on me, never abused me, went to work, this and that. I just don't want him because of blah, blah, blah.
But you got to understand, when we let you in and let you get that close to us, man, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's just like, y'all my boys, and I invite you, hey man, whatever's in the house, have it, do it, and I come home, y'all done robbed me and took everything, and these are my boys.
Well, because
they didn't have to.
Your life is a life of defense, right? You said earlier, we're always on defense no matter what. Your life is a life of defense, and I will say this, and I will say this again. The story of Samson and Delilah. He allowed Delilah to get close enough to him, told her where his strength was for a man in a relationship. This is what it comes down to. I am telling the woman where my strength is. I'm giving her the tool to take my strength, which is the scissors. And I have to now turn over and go to sleep and trust that you won't do it. So when we're in this situation, when we talk about the vulnerability, and now when I'm getting abused or I've always been presumed guilty, and I had a friend of mine say he told his wife one day, she said he messed up on something, and she said, I knew you would do that. I knew you would do that. He said, do you really know me? Or do you only know the bad side of me? Because I never get, man, I knew you would do that because of the great man you are. I knew you would do it because he said, you only know me when I mess up, which means he literally lives his life in a state of
eggshells.
Because I'm gonna mess up somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
you walking on eggshells.
Because I think nowadays, right, relationships become involved, and involved is probably not the right word because I say it in a manner that where it's beneficial. It's not, but it's gotten to the point now that relationships are no longer mutually beneficial. Everything is about her, and women expect that. They expect that everything should just surround her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember there was a time when dating and courting and treating a woman respectfully, right, was like the benefit or the byproduct of a good guy, right? Now you see she wants to be treated like a queen, respected, okay, elevated to CEO or boss status by her own words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she wants you to cook. Think about that. Think about that.
I was saying, if I'm doing all this, what I need you for?
You know what? Now, I don't want to jump too far off. I'm gonna tell you what the other side would say is that now I've been asked to work like you work, and I still have to come home and cook and clean and raise the kids. And so, to your point, there will be a counter, and I'm pretty sure.
And I'm prepared for that. I'm 100% prepared for that.
Yeah.
Because I said perception is one reality,
Mm-hmm.
and I just had this conversation. That's good to say. That's good to say if you, as a woman, are the breadwinner.
Got you.
If you are the woman or the provider,
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand that. Why I understand that? Because men like myself and other men have been that provider, that protector, right? And when you think you're doing so much, you don't realize how much you're still pouring over to me, right?
Got you.
When you want to talk, and I have to listen, I have to pay attention. I want to give you a solution, but you don't want to hear that, right?
Yeah.
When you have a situation, whatever it is that's weighing out on your day, you're looking for me for help, right? But when I got that, who am I looking to? Who am I going to? It's not you. If our family's in a crisis, at the end of the day, like if the kid has a crisis, he tells mom. Mom has a crisis, comes dad. Who do I go to?
Well, that's the
It's
thing.
problem solving time. And
Now,
a lot of ladies don't understand the pressure and stress that puts on a guy that you can't show.
So now I wanted to shift the conversation with another aspect of this innocence versus guilt.
Mm-hmm.
We hear all the time that when relationships have a situation where there is some cheating involved, if the woman cheats, bossy, what did you do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you cheat, you a dog. There's still that presumption of guilt on you that she could have done nothing wrong to push you out, but you could have done something wrong to push her out. Why is that double standard in the mindset of most people?
Say, bro, too soon. Too soon. Too soon.
That is true. But that's you said it earlier. That's just lack of accountability. When you lack accountability, you would justify any action that is contrary to good moral value. You would do it every time. We got that in the leader of our country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's all. When you will justify any act, you can. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That will question any morale because nobody want to look like the bad guy, even if they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know. And unfortunately, women do that a lot. You're right. They talk about double standards all the time. They do, but that's a fact. Like if it comes to, because women don't want to look like a lady of ill repute. She just doesn't want to look. I don't care what she does. Right. You even hear now. That women today who have multiple partners, they would justify by the simple context of, well, men do it.
Yeah.
They say, well, men do it. Yeah, but if your man did it, it's wrong, right? Right?
Hey, I done found that's called dating. That's the new word for dating.
Yeah,
what's the new word for dating?
You can have multiple partners.
Yeah.
Each partner plays a role. You're dating.
Yeah, but the thing is, even outside of dating,
but now exclusive is one.
Okay.
So
but here's the thing. Again, to have the mindset, my whole thing is when you are always in a situation to where you know you're going to be looked at as the wrong one.
Oh yeah.
Your movements are totally different. Right. And so, and we got into this also situation where I think somebody even on the show said men will instead of cutting the woman off and then leaving to go get, the woman. I mean, go with another woman. They usually cheat while they're in a relationship.
Oh,
right?
we talked about is women can cut us off. Like, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work.
Well, they usually have went through the process of start cutting you off while they're in a relationship.
Well, we don't know it.
We don't know it,
but it's happening.
But it's happening, yeah.
And they're coming like, let's go. And we're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And she'll run 6 weeks of stuff back that the plan has taken place.
Yeah.
But now, for some reason, and I talked about this, when men get ready to cut, you cut a woman off, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I?
Wait. So now what does that go back to, though?
You can't cut me off.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And the deal is, what's wrong with why is it a double standard on that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying being just to cut you off, but I'm just saying when it comes to that, why can't two people say, hey, you know what? That's not gonna work.
Well, because I think two people can, but I think we still.
But I'm talking about how they handle it. Like, yeah, you can, but a man, you got to eat it. We don't go talk. I don't know my boy. Hey, man, God dang, she just dropped it.
Well, true.
But if I dropped a woman,
but
this dog good for nothing.
Because again, the presumption of guilt is always on you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They say if you get divorced, it's your fault, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
No matter the presumption of guilt is on you. Now we understand in a leadership position, you have roles and responsibilities, but there is an opportunity for you to what they call in college football to lose institutional control. Right? It doesn't matter what the rules say. I can have consequences. I can have rules in place. I can have regulations. But if the star quarterback decide to go out and throw parties and do everything, you have lost what's called institutional control. Well, inside of a relationship, I can be the leader. I can be a fair, just person. I can be as far away from a dictator as possible. I can be firm and say, here's what I want, here what I require. And a woman can look at you and say, yeah, but I'm gonna still do me. You have no say so over that. But what happens is when that relationship dissolves, well, bossy, you couldn't keep your woman?
Oh yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you step out. I don't know, and artists can tell me. Do a lot of times do they say you couldn't keep your man? Because I know it happens when I say I'm asking because I'm not making any presumptions. I know if you lose your woman, they say, man, you couldn't do what you need to do to keep your woman.
No, ironically, the only time when I've been say a witness to events like that, and it's been several, where right, you have a situation where a woman loses her. She is comforted unless it's one of those things I call like a what's that thing? What is that? Inner circle, spear, whatever the case may be. When a girl in your circle, in her circle, gets a dude, that's when it comes. You couldn't keep your man.
Oh, okay, got you.
What do they call vortex? That's what vortex.
So
in a friendship vortex or somebody. Or an external group that they know when it's somebody like that, then it's like you couldn't keep your man.
Well,
that's the only times I hear that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you also when you're talking about in relationships splitting apart, you know, one like you said, one aspect is I have kids and I have to think about them.
Right.
Two, the presumption of the way society is gonna look at you if anything went wrong. But here's another thing: family court. Family court ain't gonna be a nice place for a man because when you walk in, that judge usually looks at you like you wrong.
That's not where you want to be.
That's not where you want to be. Is what I've always been told.
And it don't matter if it's a lady judge or a man judge. It's just you out of there. But who set the ceiling? Like let's go back. When did the ceiling get set like this? Because
the reason why it's like something that's old and outdated. Since the beginning of the time, right? Women, unfortunately, were put in a position where they couldn't provide for themselves because they was always thought, when you're talking about biblical, the misunderstanding of submission has been, it has been just torn apart and misused forever, right? Women at the time, they weren't allowed to be educated. They weren't allowed to have jobs, right? Basically, all they had to survive on if the divorce happened was a dowry that was paid for them to get married. That's pretty much all they had. You know, hey, if you read the book of Ruth, right? She's out there fishing for corn, you know, to survive, right? That's how she made Boaz. She, you know, so women had no provision if they got divorced. So they were literally helpless. All right. Well, now women are far more educated, have far more resources and the like, but that standard of her being helpless, not being a provider is still there. That's why you see.
Oh yeah, everybody's thinking, but something else is coming into place.
Perpetuate all of the time.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
They CEO like.
So let me ask you this, and women don't take this the wrong way. Did we create a monster without educating it?
That's on several different subjects. 100%.
Yeah. Did we create 100%. A monster but we can't even control now?
I do not. I am all for. I'm a true advocate. For a woman to get her paper. Anybody can. Absolutely. Education, but I am all for that. I am totally for that. You guys heard me say before, I don't believe, at least for me, a real, what I would call a strong-willed individualistic man, for the most part, I don't believe a man, he has a problem with a woman making more money than him. Now, I know a lot of sisters disagree, but let me finish, right? I don't believe no dude has a problem with a female making more money than him. Not at all. The problem when he has is when she feels her money will supplant his authority. Yeah. That's the problem dudes have. Because if you're a woman, you like, well, I make the money, I'm the boss now. Yeah. That's a problem.
Well, I mean, that was said by Gabrielle Union. She said in her last marriage, I made the most money, so I make the decisions. So that was the mind. So it happens.
I gotta go back to this. And for all the women out there watching, I just got one question. When you come sideways like that, you want us to say straight on. But when we get sideways with you, then something's wrong with us. Let me tell you something. It's something comes with everything. For every action, there's a reaction. Be prepared for the reaction. All you think about is the action, women.
But I think the mindset of the actions has to come from a place that there is
it's repercussion.
But there's a little bit of the possibility that what I'm saying
if I slap you right now, it's a great possibility you're gonna slap me back. But a woman will slap you and expect nothing to happen.
Well, true. And that's what I'm saying. The mindset has to come to a point to where everything I do is not right. There's a possibility that I could be wrong. And I think a lot of times the 10 toes down mentality that I'm 100% right, so I'm going to come at you. Again, the front runners mentality. I'm leading, so I'm going to showboat, right? And that's kind of how it is, you know.
Oh, it's pride. I mean,
that's right. Pride.
I think it's more pride and arrogance. I do. I think it's more pride and arrogance. Like the first sign of pride, right, is the inability to show vulnerability, i.e., my bad, my fault, I apologize. Yeah. I think there's a first sign because you're so insecure about, like, to most people that way, an apology means you're inferior, not necessarily you misunderstood or got something incorrect.
Right.
And that's why they're so arrogant about being right. And it's a fact, I know you guys read body language very well. You've been in conversation with people where you know in their face, they know they're wrong. Right. You know they know they're wrong. Mm-hmm. But they so arrogant, they would say some of the dumbest things off the top. Like, I'll make it real short. You heard that comedy routine Monique did. Well, she started a fight with her husband. He walked out. She followed him all the way to work, and he got fired. And she was like, basically, well, you should have talked to me in the first place. Yeah. Like, she followed him to work, bust down the door. She did all that.
But it's still his fault. Right. It's still his fault. Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing that we're talking about is the presumption of guilt from the jump just because you are a man.
So you know what that causes in a marriage relationship? Because you're a passive aggressive man. There's so many passive aggressive men in relationships.
Well, when you have sayings that some people adhere to, I don't. Happy wife, happy life.
Oh yeah,
when you have those things right there, it is. But always,
I hear somebody else say that I may be on China News Day.
But I always say this. I said I would hate to be with somebody who thought that, because that means that you're so narcissistic to believe that if my day ain't going good, everybody has to, and so that type of mentality, that's a toxic person that has that type of mentality. But But what happens is when you get to a situation to where you know that everywhere you step, there's going to be a presumption of guilt on you, and you have to always prove your level of innocence. And I think what happens is we watch in too many situations where even in our interactions with the women that are the closest to us, there's that mindset of, I know I'm right, I got to be right. Because as we get ready to close, even I don't know if you guys ever been to different marriage counselors.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of times,
I can tell you about 20 of them.
a lot of times, who was the wrong one in there?
Oh yeah, you go.
You have to adjust to make the relationship work.
We ain't got no time for you to go through that.
I will say to make your point, and my man here will be the focal point of it, right? Right? No, really.
Yeah.
I told him that there was a counselor I sent him to, right? And he had counseling before his divorce, and I can't say the counselor's name because I'm not supposed to divulge stuff, but he didn't tell me what they talked about, but he did say, yeah, she was wrong. She need help. And I told her, I said, I had never, ever heard a counselor say that the woman was wrong. I'd never, ever heard. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
I said, I'd never heard that before, like ever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And that happens sometimes. But I'm going to tell you
sure
what.
It happens more often than we know. But
it is bad business for a counselor and or a pastor
that's what
to talk against the money, because the money comes from the woman.
Yeah.
But hey, we gotta comment. Angela Johnson Gray said it can go both ways. I feel couples need to learn how to sit, listen, and try to compromise.
That's a speech before a football game. It sounds good when you say it. But putting it into practice, they don't have. That's a beautiful thing for couples to come together, right?
Yeah.
And until there's chaos, calamity, or a confrontation that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. That evaporates like smoke, unfortunately.
Yeah. David White even chimed in and said accountability is hard. And the thing is, he says it's hard, but it's usually harder for one side than the other in a relationship. I'm sorry, you were right, I was wrong. See, usually it's hard to come out.
You know what? That's that passive aggressive. So I got to take the stance. Even if I'm right, I got to back down and say,
okay,
you know what?
Wait. You have a winner argument with your female, still feel like you lost. That's what it is.
Yeah. So now, and we might have to have a whole nother conversation about this, but I'll bring this up. There was a clip by Pastor Mike. Now it slips on mine, but Jones or James, whatever his name is, Mike Todd, right? Mm-hmm. He said, "I have to love my wife just like Christ loved the church," which means that if I end the argument, I have to die to my wife, and I have to go through and I have to die to her to end this argument. And what you're talking about is where you're saying, hey, but I need some accountability. Mm-hmm. And if I keep dying to you, eventually we keep the stat up. You know the stat is that you're gonna die before your wife. So it's like you're consistently practicing dying, and you're saying, yo, a little accountability might keep me here. I might have to die so many times. If you could just say, hey, my bad, I'm sorry, you know what? She was right. And so with that type of mindset, I think that's where we were at, man. But I think the thing is that what we're trying to say is, ladies, if you have, and some like the word, some don't, if you use a little bit of humility sometimes in your stance to say, I might not be right, and I might approach this conversation like Keith said earlier. Hey, is everything okay? What's wrong? Is this an issue? Why is this? Can we talk about this?
You're going to get the information.
But the thing is, if you come and say, you this, you that, you automatically go into a normal, natural stance for you as a man, which is a defensive mode. And what I've told my wife this, I've been labeled defensive. I've been labeled tit for tat. And I said, here's the one thing you got to remember. With no tit, there's no tat. Yeah. Second of all, if I'm always labeled defensive, understand that an offense has to go before a defense can start playing. You ain't never seen anybody guard a team while they still in the huddle. You know why? Because there is no offense
right.
going on.
But what you're saying? If you throw a jacket on me that doesn't fit me, I want to take it off.
Yeah.
You're not gonna throw an ugly jacket on me and think I'm finna sport this thing. And what I'm saying is, you're not gonna blame me something or accuse me of being something that I'm not.
And I can't just sit there and just take that.
And don't say, you know, I'm arrogant, I'm wrong or something because I don't want to wear it, because it's not me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it, I'm gonna leave with that.
All right. Before we get out of here, I did want to read this last comment by Angela Johnson. It can work if both are mature about it. If you can't communicate and come to a solution, and it happens time and time again, sorry, it's not going to work. I know that it's not always right, and I can always own up to it. I'm human, not perfect, so I can compromise. Say what you want, but it's true.
Yeah. Shout out to Angela. What's up, sis, in California, man? We got a guest all the way from California. Dave, everybody, shout out.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys, if you love this show, make sure that you like, comment, and share. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page, Toxic is the New Masculinity, so we can keep this algorithm going in our favor. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching this show. And again, to my left, I got my man KY. To my right, I got my man Bossy, and I am Terrence J, and this has been another edition of Toxic is the New Masculinity. See you guys next week.